Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're here today with the Wood Elves, the proud Azrai, going to be facing up against the mighty Lizardmen. Definitely in for a very fun battle, so let's jump straight to the army compositions. My army is going to be led by the Glady here. She's, of course, got the Prey of Anathrema. I've cut the Arrow of Kurnus because it seems to be a little bit bugged right now. The accuracy on it is pretty poor. She's also got Banner of Eternal Queen for that damage resistance and leadership buff, as well as Eye of Kurnus for additional, self-buffing missile damage. And if she rides along with someone, she can buff their missile damage as well. So the reason I don't bring her on a dragon in this particular matchup is the High Slon's a bit of a risk. The Forest Dragon also has 50 armor as well, meaning it can get worn down pretty efficiently by Pterodons, skink javelins, and so on. So I just prefer to bring the Glady on her horse here to give her that extra mobility. That way she can kind of run around and go wherever she needs to. The main line is 2 War Dancers here in the center, flanked by 4 Eternal Guard, 2 on each side. We've got a Branch Wraith supporting in the center here. These guys are a nice little melee attack. Augmenters here. They've also got good spells. He's got this +5 melee attack, Earthblood, as well as Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. We've also got 4 Glade Guards with Starfire Shafts, so armor-piercing missiles obviously going to be very good against the dinos. We're protecting them with 2 War Dancers with Azrai Spear here in the flanks and near the rear. In addition, we've also got 1 unit of Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips for that long-range poison missile damage, as well as 1 unit of Sisters of Thorn. So Sisters of Thorn are a really nice pick in this matchup, particularly for running down Chameleon Skinks, which my opponent has brought a few of here. The reason for that being they, of course, have poison missiles, which slow their opponents, as all poison damage does. In addition, they also have a few bound support spells. They have Curse of Anraher, which again lowers melee attack and speed of enemy units. So that combined with the poison means they can easily catch Chameleon Skinks. They also have heavy physical resistance, meaning they won't take a whole lot of damage, initially. They also have Shield of Thorns, which if you self-buff with that, again, they gain missile resistance, becoming even more immune to the skink missile fire, and they also gain a bit of extra weapon damage for when they charge into melee. And that is what I'm going to be doing shortly here. And that's about it for my build. Pretty good anti-lizard build here. For my opponent, he's got a front line of 4 skink cohorts, no javelins here. He's got 2 Stegodons. One is carrying a Skink Priest with Lore of Heavens. Let's look at the spell selection here. He's got Chain Lightning, Comet of Cassandora, Uranus Thunderbolt, and Wind Blast. So all of the kind of direct, I guess not direct damage spells, but damage dealer spells. No support buffs whatsoever. He's also got a Revivification Crystal, as well as Krokar, of course, on Grimlock, 1 unit of Reserve Source Warriors, and the 4 Chameleon Skinks, 2 on each flank. So we'll go ahead and kick things into full gear. First order of business is going to be to try and get rid of these Chameleon Skinks here. So over on this side, I'm going to bring these Glade Riders up and around like this. I've got my Glady here, so I can kind of come in a pincer maneuver a bit like that. On this other side here, we're going to be pushing the Sisters of Thorn up and around to kind of come in from behind on these Chameleon Skinks here. But you can see we're now getting the Glady coming in on these poor little Chameleon Skinks here. They're going to get interrupted by the Glady and then slammed into by these Glade Riders here, who actually have pretty decent melee stats, all things considered. Absolutely brutal. A little bit of friendly fire coming in from the Stegodon there, which actually has done quite a bit of damage already to these Glade Riders here, but we are going to be able to pin this other unit of Chameleon Skinks down with the Prey of Anathrema and get in there with the Glade Riders and just quickly dispatch them. So that's about 1,200 resources, 1,200 points worth of resources from my opponent that's been wiped off the map almost immediately. You can see we've pulled up just about in range of the Glade Guards with Starfire Shafts, going to be pathing them forward and just starting to open up on some of the dinos here. Sisters of Thorn have taken up a position on top of the hill here. We're going to be dropping the Curse of Anraher very shortly. You can see that gold aura is actually the Curse of Anraher, and between that and the poison, these Chameleon Skinks are down to 25 speed. So they're actually very, very slow right now, and I did self-buff with the Shield of Thorns as well. You can see that there. So these Sisters of Tron here are going to absolutely destroy those poor little Chameleon Skinks. In the mainline engagement here, the regular Skink cohorts will get outclassed by Eternal Guards, although it will take them some time. The War Dancers, though, in the center are absolutely immediately going to cut these poor little chameleon, I say chameleons, they're regular skinks. They're going to cut these poor little skinkers to absolute pieces, and poor little guys did nothing to deserve this. They're definitely just going to be hardcore outclassed in this matchup. You can see the War Dancers kind of jumping around, and Skinks also doing their best to give them the acrobatic show, but it's not going to be quite enough. We're able to see off the chameleon skinks over on that side, so we're going to be pulling the Glady over back to deal with some of these targets here in the center. Likewise, over on this flank, the Sisters of Tron are dealing with these chameleon skinks very, very efficiently. So that's, 2,400 points worth of resources for my opponent neutralized almost immediately, and the skinks in the center buckled very, very quickly to the War Dancers. You can see Krokgar's trying to charge up through the center here, but I have so many Glade Guards with Starfire shafts on station, firing from different directions, that Krokgar's taking a ton of armor-piercing missile fire. You can see already down about 25% of his HP and dropping very, very rapidly. Meanwhile, over on this side, the Bastildon with Revification Crystal going to be inundated here by the Eternal Guards, and they do have armor-piercing anti-large as well, of course, so they'll do very well in this particular engagement. Saurus have had to be pulled in to engage on these War Dancers here, and you can see Krokgar's already lost so much of his HP, and with the Revification Crystal rapidly taking damage from those Eternal Guards, he's not going to have very much healing left, and it's already looking pretty grim for my opponent. You can see the balance of power is turning somewhat in my favor here, desperately diving in here with this Stegodon, but it's a big mistake diving into these War Dancers with the Azurai Spear here. Of course, they have armor-piercing anti-large as well. Going to turn the focus fire to just immediately start wrecking on this Stegodon. You can see how fast it's going down there. All these armor-piercing anti-large troops of the Wood Elves are going to just tear this thing to absolute shreds. So yeah, going Dino heavy against the Wood Elves I definitely think is a bit of a mistake. I think that you could potentially take a much better build with the Lizard, and we'll kind of talk through that towards the end here. We'll just kind of grab some cinematics of these Saurus fighting with the War Dancers here. They're definitely cutting these Saurus to absolute pieces. A beautiful Uranus Thunderbolt kills quite a few of those War Dancers actually, but we're just going to be immediately healing what's left of them and just trying to take down these Saurus Warriors. You can see kind of the armor-piercing Death Blob pathing up the hill. The Glady has been fighting up against this Skink Priest here actually a little bit, but you can see Bastildon with the Revification Crystal actually fell there. Focus fire is going to be turned now towards this Skink Priest here, I believe. Only a few seconds left in the battle, and yeah, you can see the War Dancers with the Azurai Spear going to be getting in here. Again, armor-piercing anti-large, which is very much a theme of the Wood Elf units, and now with War Dancers with the the dual sword variant actually being very good anti-infantry tools, I do think the Wood Elves are a very powerful faction right now and a little bit underrated, by a lot of people. So very well played to my opponent. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. In terms of the army breakdown here, you can see the Glade Riders and the Sisters of Thorn both picking up an XP chevron in their role in dispatching those Chameleon Skinks. You can see the Chameleon Skinks got hardly any kills all across the board here, so that was great. Negated a lot of value there. The Stegodons as well, it's okay to want them to do do damage at range. I do think a Laser Lizard's a little bit better of an option for that. Let's actually just go straight to the custom battle screen here, and we can kind of talk about some different things. So let's go here, and if we have a look at the Lizardmen, so up against the Wood Elves, it's a bit tough. Bringing the big dinos is a bit of a risk. Krokgar on Grimlock is relatively safe because you do have the swiftness of Itzel. Sacred Spawning isn't going to help against, obviously the Starfire Shafts do magic damage, so that's not going to help there. But, you could maybe come in here, cut Deadly Onslaught just to make it a little bit cheaper. Hand of the Gods may or may not be worth it. You could probably cut it just to make, Krokgar a little bit cheaper. I would prefer to do something like this, maybe get this guy up on a Pterodon just to apply some poison damage, and you could honestly go Heavens or Beasts here, but I think Heavens is a little bit more useful, so we'll grab this guy. We don't need that in particular, and we'll cut most of these spells. We just keep Harmonic Convergence and Wind Blast. Harmonic Convergence, of course, is a great support buff, and Wind Blast is great against low armor targets, so we'll keep both of those. And we can kind of do something like this. Saurus Warriors are going to be pretty decent against most of the infantry the Wood Elves can bring, of course, because they have very good weapon strength. So we'll grab 4 of them with shields to give them that missile block chance. Let's also grab, we'll go with 4 Chameleon Skinks here. We're also going to get 4 Skink cohorts with Javelins for that extra missile pressure. And, you know, we're a little bit short on funds from what I would like here. We can maybe find a way to cut some more things, but honestly, this Chameleon Skinks, you could probably cut them down to just 2. We'll bring a Solar Engine and a Revivification Crystal. So that's a pretty strong option there. You know, you may want to bring a couple Pterodon Riders as well. They're a bit of a risk just because they can get shot out of the sky relatively easily. But, you know, I do like this setup a little bit better. The Solar Engine, the reason I like it better against the Wood Elves than the Bastiladon is for a few reasons. Number one, it does apply this blind effect, which is very useful against the Wood Elves. Debuffs melee attack and defense, which can be critical, and of course debuffs accuracy as well, which I've never seen accuracy debuffs be wildly useful in my anecdotal experience. But, you know, it can potentially do well here. As well, it also does magic and flaming attacks, so if they, for whatever reason, bring tree units against you, this guy's going to be really good at sniping out, you know, Durthu, Treekin, even Dryads. He'll do a ton of damage to. So I really like this guy here rather than the Stegodons. He's cheaper as well, which allows you to go a lot wider here. And something like this, I think, would be a little bit better against the Wood Elves. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I definitely enjoy playing this matchup quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to playing Wood Elves some more. Unfortunately, guys, the patch that came out today did not actually include any balance changes. I'm going to be making a dedicated video talking about that, and we'll kind of go through some different things in that video. So stay tuned for that. Bit of testing on the way as well, since there's no, you know, upcoming patch. Not really any anything new to test, so we can, you know, go back to Bretonnia, say, and highlight some of the things that maybe need to be fixed there. So if that's something you want to see, stay tuned for that. Go ahead and like and subscribe if this is the kind of content that you want to see. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.